it's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Cinematic Wasteland here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And joining me, as always, every month, my buddies Adam and Luke. Thanks, guys, for coming on as always.
Howdy, gents.
Boss to be here.
Good to be here.
Hello.
And this
Sorry,
is a
Luke.
show where three guys' love for film takes us through the history of cinema. And we're in the 30s. Woohoo!
Yes. Moving on
So
up.
I also have to check. This does not look like the right year's information that I have up. No, it is
Uh-oh.
not. Let me
Uh-oh.
click a button, go to another page. Yes, because what we do on this show is we do a little bit of film history, and then we're going to jump into some box office, talk about the Academy Awards a bit, and then talk about our film that we pick each month. And we have The Public Enemy, because you mobsters, okay?
Same.
This is where it all began. But let's do some history here. So, double features emerge as a way for the unemployed and the middle class to occupy their time. It's what I do
Out
with
of the,
my time in
out of
America,
the sun or out of the snow.
2025. Especially when I go to a theater that has no reception at all. The second I walk in, it's like, I'm dead to the world and have to watch. I'm gonna watch whatever, not think about anything
You
else.
come out and it's 28 days later.
I come out, I'm in downtown London. There's nobody there. I'm just like, how did I get here?
Someone
Oh,
flying
it's
you
more
around with an
likely you come
iPhone
out.
8.
It's more likely you come out. It's gonna be the purge.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going back in the movies. Goodbye.
Shane is like, fuck this.
Next up, we have an early talkie gangster film starring Gary Cooper as a shooting gallery sharpshooter named The Kid, directed by Ruben Mamoulian's City Streets. His second feature film was notable as the first American film to have a voiceover during a close-up of a tear-stained face of Nan Cooley, played by Sylvia Sidney, and the stepdaughter of gangster Cooley, played by Guy Kibbe, as she recalled the past during a flashback. Ooh. The scene superimposed the kid's voice over her face as she remembered his words and thought her own out loud. Hitchcock already exhibited a voiceover in the sound version of the British film Blackmail in 1929. Look at Hitchcock doing things first.
Yeah.
But this is interesting because this certainly sets that like noirish kind of motif that
hmm
a lot of those films do. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Warner's followed up its gangster film hit Little Caesar with newcomer James Cagney and Jean Harlow in a small part, starring in The Public Enemy, which we'll be talking about in a minute. A box office smash and one of the earliest and best of its gangster films. Director William Wellman's pre-code film was shot in less than a month at a cost of approximately $151,000. It was the most noted for the scene of Cagney pushing a grapefruit into the face of mall girlfriend May Clark. The film appeared to glamorize criminal activity such as bootlegging, although that was not its intent, and emphasized their high style of life with various floozies portrayed by Joan Blondell, May Clark, and Jean Harlow. Hence, the film hastened the efforts of Hollywood's self-imposed production code in the early 30s to strictly censor films with criminal and sexual subject matter that depicted undesirable social figures or sexual subjects in a sympathetic or realistic way. Boy, would they hate Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Almost everything Martin Scorsese's done. Yeah.
Yes. I was
Makes
about to say,
a lot
and
of
also Wolf
sense.
of Wall Street.
Oh.
It makes a lot of sense because as I was watching this, I know we're not talking about it yet, but I was thinking this was pre-Hays Code, right? Because there's some stuff going on in here, which we'll definitely touch on later.
Which it's like, how else would I learn about uppers and downers if it wasn't for Marty and the Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
So
Ludes.
just think if we still had the code, wouldn't be able to learn about any of that for 3 hours in my life. The first of Universal's series of classic horror films was released. Director Todd Browning's Dracula based on Bram
Dracula.
Stoker's novel starring Hungarian-born Bela Lugosi, who was reprising his 1927 Broadway role on the big screen. I assumed it was like the 90s into the 2000s where pulpy genre stories were getting put on Broadway. Well, not
Huh.
all the way back in the 1920s, Dracula on Broadway.
Yeah,
And
nothing's new.
also, no, nothing's new. And also, two things about it. First of all, did you guys know there is a all Spanish Dracula movie starring
Yes,
Huh.
totally different people? Yeah.
yes,
And they made it during the night. So at the day, Bela Lugosi and all those prime actors were making Dracula. They stopped for a day, and the night crew moved in with all Spanish cast. And
Really?
it's fascinating.
Did
And it's
did not
actually
know that.
included it's actually included on like the Dracula box set. It's like on one of the discs. There is a whole Spanish version with one of the actresses
Wow.
interviewed back in like 2000 or 97 or something like that. It's actually very good as well. Like I liked it. And also to your point, Shane, that this is the first feature Universal Horror. Because of Foster, a friend of the podcast, I know
Hmm.
that there have been like a proper like a short. So like there's a proper list that goes back as to like 1910, where it's like like Dracula, Frankenstein,
yeah.
technically by the same studio because like before that, like then it turned into Universal. So like if you want to binge all the Universal horror monster movies, you kind of have
Oh.
to start with the short ones. So like I definitely want to do that at some point.
I've seen the Frankenstein one from
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
back
I
then.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, just briefly, leveraging off my expertise, we are getting a Dracula box set in 4K next year from Universal, as in the original, like all of them, like these three or four of them,
Nice.
I think. We're
Nice.
getting a 4K box set. Yeah, so I'm like,
Nice.
sweet. Mm.
Now, was Antonio Banderas Dracula? Because I they'll have my money. But no, I shout out to another podcast, the podcast, classic movie review podcast. They stopped making episodes about a year or two ago, and
Hmm.
I'm afraid to look up why, because it's a father and son. It's a middle-aged man and his elder
Oh,
father, and I'm
Oh.
afraid to look up that like the
yeah.
dad passed
Mm.
away, and which is why they stopped making these
Mm.
podcasts. But they had a whole episode of Dracula, and they watched both of them, and
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
talking about the
That's
differences.
brilliant.
So it's a really interesting thing for sure.
Yes.
Um, a few months after the release of Dracula, Universal Studios had a second horror hit with the release of Frankenstein, starring
Yes.
Boris Karloff as the monster, not as Frankenstein, created by mad scientist Dr. Frankenstein, played by Colin Clive. I love Frankenstein so much. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it's great.
Um,
Hmm.
Also, I love how they used all the original props for Young Frankenstein because Mel Brooks found the guy that just
Yeah.
had them out in like his
Yep.
garage.
Yeah.
Because you can just walk off of movie sets with whole entire sets and stuff like
I just
that.
love these Universal horror movies. Like they are just
Mhm.
such a vibe.
I have
Yeah,
the
they're great.
two 4-pack DVDs that they had released that are
Hmm.
like the eight
Yeah.
most famous of them,
Hmm.
sitting right
Mm.
up there.
There's
Uh
actually a box set 4K of those coming out very, very soon. I think before the end of the year. All eight of them, I think.
Nice.
the universe does not want me to have money. Um
No.
Friedrich
No.
March played the title role, the first Oscar-winning horror performance of the transformed villainous scientist in director Ruben Mamlian's first sound version, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, opposite Miriam Hopkins and the slutty Cockney barmaid Ivy.
Of course. Yes.
Okay.
What else?
What a
Love the
description.
description here.
Yeah.
The film contains groundbreaking transformative scenes and special effects. Have either of you watched the Friedrich March version of this?
No.
No. No.
It's pretty cool. I have a double pack of that and the Spencer Tracy one
Oh yeah.
where he was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I'd recommend both of them.
I
But
don't
no,
think
this
of
one
it.
has like I could not believe this came out in 1931 watching the transformations and stuff like that in it.
Mm,
There was
hmm.
some peak special effects at the time.
Okay.
Um, African American filmmaker Oscar Michaud's The Exile was the first feature-length sound film from a black director. It was advertised as the first black American talkie. There you
Wow.
go.
31.
Wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
1931. Yes, before the money took over, and it's just like, oh, we could have
Mm.
all types of people making movies. Now we can't.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not giving you money. Best Picture nominated Trader Horn by director W.S. Van Dyke was notable as the first non-documentary production to be filmed in Africa. Some of the jungle stock footage was later used up for MGM's first Tarzan film with Johnny Weissmuller's Tarzan, the Ape Man.
Mm.
Hmm.
Olympic swimmer.
Yep. Hey, if you're gonna go shoot in Africa, make sure you get the most out of your footage.
Yep.
Recycle.
Reuse,
Uh,
reduce, recycle.
there we go. Um, German director Fritz Lang's influential and suspenseful M was released. Lang's first sound film starring Peter Lorre. I hope you're all
Mm.
enjoying these impressions tonight. Um, in a breakout starring role as a child serial killer, Hans Beckert, one of the earliest talkies that effectively used sound. It was also the first serious psychological crime film melodrama about a serial killer. Boy, do we have a lot of those now. Um,
Uh-huh.
millennials, millennials for sure love that true crime shit.
Wait, what do
Um,
you
Mm.
think the M stands for in that movie?
Murder?
murder.
Millennials.
Oh, millennium.
Damn, I walked right into that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was like, yeah, he got us
Such a
both,
dumb
right?
joke. I apologize. Such a dumb joke.
See,
See
this is
yourself
what you
out.
come here for. The
Dumb
entertainment.
jokes.
I hope you all enjoy.
Yeah.
Dad jokes,
In
yeah.
the in the plot, Lang experimented with sound and the striking pioneer use of leitmotif to associate a sound with a film character. A blind balloon salesman, George John, heard the killer's haunting, telltale whistling of "In the Hall of the Mountain King" from Edvard Grieg's Peer Gynt Suite #1 before an off-screen killing.
Easy for you to say.
Did my best. I'm I'm not the Germans.
You
But
can do the accent.
unfortunately,
You're in a safe place.
recorded on the internet, for a whole world to listen to.
Go right ahead, Shane. Go right ahead. It's fine.
Um, I just keep thinking of Snatch, where every time Jason Statham is like, it's not like it's the Germans. Every time it does that. But unfortunately, this film was used as propaganda against Jewish people because of Peter
Hmm.
Lorre in
Mm.
during the Third Reich's rise in Germany. So that takes a if a film about kid serial killer couldn't be morbid enough, and
Well,
then
the
it was
Republican's going to
leveraged.
be called the Fourth Reich. Is this going to be like, is this like part four in this quadrilogy?
Spicy.
Um,
Mm,
there's no way in hell that they would take away their own branding to use somebody else's.
yeah,
Mm.
It's all about branding,
yeah,
Adam. You got to be able to
yeah.
sell those hats in the Oval Office gift shop.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which every penny goes straight to that dickhead to pay his legal bills.
Yep. Italian Argentinian director Carino Cristiani animated political satire Pelodopoulos, aka Podolo City, a lost film, has been credited as the first animated film with sound using the Vitaphone sound on disc synchronization system of process. See, reading some of this history stuff is like, I want to watch that movie. And it's just like, nope,
Yeah.
too bad. You can't. It's lost. The comic strip police detective Dick Tracy, created by cartoonist Chester Gould, made his debut appearance in the Detroit Mirror newspaper. The strip series often reflected the latest in political crime fighting techniques and procedurals. Gold's strip lasted until 1977 when it was taken over
Hmm.
by others. Dick Tracy's first appearance in film was Dick Tracy 1937, a Republic's Picture movie serial starring Ralph Bird.
So for
I
46 years. Holy shit. Huh.
That stuff ran for a long time, and then they got the
Yeah.
Dick Tracy movie with Warren Beatty, Madonna,
Hmm.
and Al Pacino.
Yeah, that's
So
a movie.
it's colorful for sure.
It is
They were
very
like,
colorful.
it's like this is a comic book. We're making it.
Hmm.
Um, Next we have comedian W.C. Fields' first sound feature film was Warner's First National's pre-code musical comedy Her Majesty Love. It was a German director William Dietrich's first U.S. film and the final and third film of Broadway star Merrill Miller.
Hmm.
Comedy and sound. It's like, you mean I don't have to yeet myself off of things for physical comedy anymore? I can make jokes.
Who would
Yeah.
have
Um,
thought?
who would have thought? Rene Clair's French film A Nous la Liberté, I'm even worse at French, was the first foreign language film to receive an Oscar nomination, Best Art Direction for Leslie Meerson. The social commentary on modernization was Claire's third sound feature film.
Nice.
So it wasn't just within the past 5 years when they're like, make the Academy more diversified that we actually got like foreign directors and films getting some attention.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
there you go.
Hmm.
So
And
that's
then they
like
lost.
2, 3 years since the Oscar started, and already like for international nominee. That's actually fucking fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they
It's pretty
forgot
fast.
about that for like 70 years. And then they're like, oh shit, we need to start doing this again.
Hmm.
What do you mean? Ennio Morricone should have won for some of these like soundtracks. No, it's fine. He's Italian.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They
Don't
can have
even
their own
get me.
awards.
You struck a nerve, Luke.
Yep.
Don't get me started.
Or
That
Sergio
man,
Leone.
that man should have won an Oscar well before he was 90.
Yes, yes, yes.
And for the record,
Um,
that score for The Hateful Eight's amazing. Have it on vinyl.
Hmm.
yeah.
And he
Yeah.
deserved it.
Yes.
Despite all the Star Wars fans crashing out because John Williams didn't win for Force Awakens. I'm like, you shut your whore mouth and your Morricone deserved this Oscar.
Yeah. Oh, I want to know when Joe Hisashi's going to get his. Speaking of people who deserve a score Oscar, like
He
he's the
could have won
greatest
for
next to John
literally,
Williams. Yeah.
literally any of Miyazaki's movies,
Yeah.
Mm.
any of them. Nominated for an Oscar.
It's a great question, actually. Well worth
If it
looking
was
up.
anything, I would imagine it was Spirited Away when that got a whole bunch of buzz and stuff
So
like that. But
yeah, since we are off the track a tiny bit, let me maybe blow your
I'll-
mind. Do you know who else has never been nominated and feels very wrong? Park Chan-wook, the director of Oldboy,
Yes, I was reading that today.
Maiden,
Yeah, yeah.
Decision to Leave, for
Yep.
neither screenplay, neither directing, production, nothing.
Mm, it's
I'm not
crazy, isn't it?
surprised about that because, like, up
Oh,
until
I am.
very recently, they
yeah.
haven't been honoring
Since
Asian cinema
Parasite. Yeah.
that often.
No, but what
Like,
I'm saying is even his movies, not even international feature. Like
Yeah.
even the international, like okay, like writer, director, okay, recently fair, but not even like Old Boy, Handmaiden. Like the Handmaiden was popular movie and critically acclaimed. Like the
I love
Decision
that
to
Would
movie.
Leave,
were they
amazing.
submitted
For
though as
well, Luke,
well? Like we
is he French?
No, he's not. That's the problem.
Because I feel like every single year, at least
do
France
you know
gets
how
one of those 5 slots.
do you know how I
Park
know he's
Chan-wook,
not
he fucked
French?
up.
I know
Hmm?
he's
What,
not
Luke?
French because you can say his name, Shane.
This is
And
a
Joe
spicy
Welcome to
one.
Hisashi wasn't Joe
welcome
was
to the
nominated
roast of
for
Shane Conto. I hope you're all enjoying this.
Joe was nominated for Spirited Away, by the way. I looked it up.
Nice,
I figured if
nice.
anything, he would have been nominated for that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
According to various sources, the pre-code film A Free Soul, starring Norma Shearer, has a 14-minute uninterrupted monologue scene played by Best Actor winning Lionel Barrymore as a defense attorney in a courtroom. It was the longest take in a commercial film, accomplished by using 2 cameras simultaneously.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Wow.
cool
14
technical stuff.
minutes. Damn.
Uh, Influential German director F.W. Murnau was killed in a coastal car
Ooh.
accident near Santa Barbara, California at the age of 42.
Wow.
Um, his most notable films were the Dracula vampire film Nosferatu, The Last Laugh, Faust, Sunrise, incredible film, and his
Yes.
last film Taboo. And yes, we have a correction. Joe Hisashi was not nominated for an Oscar because
I can't read
Injustice.
properly. Yeah.
No, it's not Adam's fault. It's Injustice's fault. Um,
Yes.
he should have, and we should have willed that into existence. And
Hmm.
lastly, somebody from my neck of the woods, American inventor
Mm.
and entrepreneur Thomas A. Edison was one of the early film pioneers and filmmakers, died at the age of 84. He was known as the Wizard of Menlo Park, New Jersey, for
Mhm.
his many innovations,
Mm.
including the motion picture camera, the kinetograph, and the peephole film viewer called the kinescope. Although much of his work was contributed by his employees, notably W.K.L. Dixon, he was famous for establishing the world's first film production studio for Black Maria in 1893 and the so-called Edison Trust Motion Picture Patents Company in 1908. Composed of
Wow.
most of major film companies at the time, it was actually broken up and declared a monopoly and disbanded in 1918.
I was
Oh
gonna say,
wow,
wasn't
back
Edison the
when
one
America did shit about
corporation?
unethical business practices.
Uh,
Wasn't he the one
yeah.
who was gatekeeping a lot of the technology? Edison,
Well, that's
He's
if
what
I remember.
a
well,
lot
Luke, you
of
can't get a
Teslas, wasn't
monopoly
he?
unless you gatekeep a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
A little
just
bit.
be even, be even.
So I just want to point this out before we move into box office stuff. So all of this talk about Netflix is bringing film to New Jersey. New Jersey's going to be the new Hollywood. Film
Mhm.
started here first before
So it's gonna be
Yeah.
the
Hollywood took it
new
away
old
from
Hollywood.
us.
It's gonna be the new
So,
old Hollywood. It's a
That's
reboot.
we.
like, I don't like that it's Netflix bringing it back to New Jersey, but I'll take it. So,
Mhm.
pride for
Mm.
New Jersey. Jersey proud. I'm a Jersey boy.
Justice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, going over to the box office. So, I got our top 10 films of the year. We have the Marx Brothers Horse Feathers was number 10 at $945,000. We have Strange Interlude that made $957,000. We did have 8 films that cracked $1 million. We had Smilin' Through, which made 1,004,000. Tarzan the Ape Man, one million one
Mm.
hundred twelve thousand. So those genre flicks with that Ape Man making that money. Um, Prosperity made 1,166,000. I feel like if you name your film Prosperity, you better make money, or that just
Yeah.
sounds embarrassing.
Yes.
Grand Hotel, Best Picture winner, made 1,235,000. Hell Divers, wonder what that's about. Made 1,244,000. Emma from MGM made 1,409,000. The Kid from Spain from United Artists made $2,621,000. And number one from Paramount, The Sign of the Cross, which made $2,739,000.
Mm.
Of course.
I'd take that today.
Yeah. I'll take it, 2
Mhm.
mil.
I would certainly take that in 1931 money too, whatever that
Well,
is
I would
today.
rather take it in 1931 money for sure.
Just
Yes.
like
Oh.
wild.
But I could have sworn that IMDb trivia had the Public Enemy we're gonna talk about shortly as like a 9th grossing movie of that year. Interesting. But
Well,
again, it's
I got
IMDb
my
trivia, so
information from Wikipedia, so the most
ah,
trusted source of all information on the
yes,
internet.
yes. To be fair,
Yeah.
IMDb trivia sometimes can be a bit dodgy, so hey, I don't
Well,
know.
I think the challenging thing too is not this is reliable. It's
Yeah.
not like it's not like we have something like Box Office Mojo today that keeps track of stuff.
Mm.
Which even that, like Netflix doesn't even release their own numbers. Like K-pop Demon Hunter making $18 million last weekend. Wild in 2 days
Yeah, that is wild. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
at the
Considering
box
everyone watched
office.
it already for free.
There
Well,
were
not for free,
show
but
well, there were sing-along
Because they're yeah,
screenings and they were
yeah,
sing-alongs.
sold out all across the United States.
crazy.
Little
You know what's
girls
crazier?
screaming.
You know what's crazier? This is a yet another Sony property that they were like, you know what, we don't know what to do with this. We don't believe in this.
Mm.
So hey,
Give it to Netflix.
Netflix, you can have it. Yeah. And yet again, Sony passes up on something that's so huge. And Sony
Yeah.
struggles. Like there was an email leak from a long time ago, you know, like the big Sony leak. And they said, we need to find movies that could develop into franchises, like that have potential.
Yeah.
And yet again, they pass up to Netflix to, you know, to have massive mega hit. I'm
There's a
like,
big
this is
argument that it wouldn't have been that successful without Netflix first. Like it got buzz, it got word of mouth because of Netflix. So if that just
Maybe
was
this could be a
released
new
widely, it wouldn't have
maybe
done.
this could be a new model for Netflix. Drum up buzz
Yeah,
on the streaming service
absolutely.
and then put it in theaters. But this is the first film with 3 tracks in the top 5 on the Hot 100 chart since it was Saturday Night Fever.
wow.
Yeah,
That's
right.
So like 50
what?
years, K-pop Demon Hunter is doing some crazy stuff.
Not even wait, not even like I guess Mamma Mia wouldn't count.
No, because
That's
they're
not
not
original, yeah.
no, they're not original songs.
Fair.
Um, well, unless it was
Hmm.
those versions,
Rocky
and I
Horror?
am
What about
sure
Rocky Horror?
Rocky Horror wasn't
But wasn't
popular
it
when it came
pre
out.
this? Oh yeah,
Mm,
that's true.
okay.
Well, and this is the Hot 100 Billboard charts. This is like
Yeah.
the top. This is like Taylor Swift land and
Mm.
Sabrina Carpenter land, like where people like make a shitload
Don't
of
like
money.
shit music. Yeah, okay. All right.
Wow.
You
Well, to
mean
be
you
fair,
mean
I don't listen to Taylor Swift or Sabrina
Nah,
Carpenter.
me either. I wouldn't know if it's good or bad, actually. I
you
just
mean
watch
Um,
50
Taylor
Zoo Attack Me.
Soon? You mean Taylor Kelsey soon? You know.
Oh, do you reckon she'll change her name? Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
then what she'll do is release new
Nah.
albums with a new name on it for her fans to make more money off
Re-release
them.
again.
Yeah.
yeah, well, to be fair, she has a acute business acumen and knows how to
No,
make money.
she's a rip-off. Releasing 4 covers for your album is absolutely taking advantage of your fans. I think it's
But
Like
deplorable.
I
It's
said,
deplorable.
acute business acumen.
It's
I'll
lack of
say
scruples.
in defense of Taylor Swift, which I like, I don't really like her that much. Like, I'm not a big fan, but I know a few things. Like, when she does a tour, most of the people always stay with her because she actually pays them very nice bonuses after the tour. Like, every single member, like, even if
Hmm?
you holding cables, like, last time we got like 100,
She can
150K.
afford to because she
On,
sells 4 albums for one,
no, of
right?
course, of course. But
But not
also, like,
everybody does that, Adam.
but of course, but like another thing
buys
is
them.
like
No.
every city she goes to, apparently, she makes sure she fills up food donation banks with like some like amount of money. So like you know there's an argument to be made where
Tax
Taylor Swift for like
deductible.
well in the UK I don't think it is. I don't know if it works
These,
like that.
In
I
the
think
US,
traveling
it's an
artists have to pay
itemized
tax.
deduction.
In
I don't know.
when artists and sportsmen travel, they have to pay tax on their earnings in that country. I know in Australia,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
if,
Hmm.
for the tennis open, if you make money in the tennis open, you have to lodge your tax return and pay your
Yeah.
money, whatever you would
I like how
have
you call it
paid.
the tennis open, not Australian Open, because
Well,
you know
I
you're
was
from there.
just, well, it could have been the Gulf Open, but I was making sure we knew it was tennis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure the same would be in every country. So
Hmm.
if she donates some of that, then she probably has to pay a little bit less. And I don't know. I think
Like, look,
I
And
just
the
don't
yes,
more
trust billionaires. I don't
the
trust
moral of
billionaires.
this story is this is why accountants make so much money. especially those who do accounting
Mm,
work for athletes and musical
yeah,
artists.
and gangsters.
And
They
make
probably
sure, you
make
know,
the
make sure
most
you,
money.
yeah, but just make
But
sure you don't end up with a accountant, you know, Wesley Snipes head. Okay, those accountants will make all the money off of you and run, and you go to prison.
there you go. Well, let's talk about some Academy Awards. So, for Outstanding Picture, because it's still Outstanding Picture, we have yet to get to Best Picture. We have The Smiling Lieutenant, Shanghai Express, 1 Hour with You, five-star final, The Champ, Bad Girl, Aerosmith, as in the John Ford film, not the Steven Tyler led band, and winner, Grand Hotel. So it won Best Picture, and it was the number 5 movie at the box office that year. So there you go.
Nice.
I thought it was
Okay.
an interesting movie, and I thought it was pretty solid. Did a Wasteland watch list of that. Um, Directing, we have Joseph von Sternberg for Shanghai Express, King Vidor for The Champ, and if I'm not mistaken, King Vidor and Frank Borzage for Bad Girl co-won the award.
Hmm.
So they did have a tie at this Academy Awards because
Mm,
that is possible because math.
It, yes, it
yes.
is.
We have writing adapted. So we have Percy Heath and Samuel Hoffenstein for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Sidney Howard for Aerosmith, and winner Edwin Burke for Bad Girl. Bad Girl getting a lot of attention at this Academy Awards.
Everybody
Writing,
loves the bad girl.
everybody loves a bad girl, especially before the code. Uh, and then we were told we
Hmm.
could not like bad girls anymore. Um,
Yes.
Original writing, we have Adela Rogers St. John's and Jan Murfin for What Price Hollywood? Question mark.
Nothing
Lucian
about.
Hubbard, The Star Witness, Grover Jones and William Slavens McNutt for
What?
Lady and Gent,
That
and
definitely sounds
winner.
like a pre-code movie.
Sorry, that was the name of the writer was William
Oh,
Slavens McNutt.
well, it sounds like the title of a pre-code movie.
And I am pretty sure he was banned, you know, when the Hays Code came in effect. It was like, no, we cannot
We
have
can
that on
no
the screen.
longer write movies. We cannot put
You
McNutt on
Yeah.
any
need to
credits
change that last
anymore.
name, buddy. Need to change that last name, buddy. Okay.
Oh, wait, that's not going to be on the McDonald's menu, that's for sure. Buy a McNut.
Well, I went to go see Relay, that new
Special sauce.
David Mackenzie movie last weekend, and the cinematographer's Giles Nutkins. And my wife was like, Jess is just like, no,
Nutkins.
that's not a real name.
That
That
sounds like
just
a Ben Stiller insult.
You
it's
nutkins.
she's like, that's as
Yeah.
real of a name as Hambone McName of McFake Namington. That's Jess's favorite. That's actually her name on our Netflix account is Hambone
Really?
McNamington. So there you go.
Mm.
I don't think she puts a real name on anything. Anytime she submits ballots for my monthly thing that I do, it's always fake names. They're hilarious.
Just as my
Uh,
hero.
Fucking
uh,
name, isn't it? Isn't that how it's pronounced?
Ame.
It's a
Um,
French guy. Fucking name.
okay, so France Marion, oddly enough, won Best Original Writing for The Champ.
Nice.
So there you
Yeah.
go.
This is going
Um,
off unhinged.
actually, I should have done did a, actually like bolded the winners. So it wasn't the directors that co-won. It was Best Actor was a tie because
Mm.
Alfred Lunt for The Guardsman was the only one of the 3 nominees who didn't win. Because the 2 winners were Friedrich March for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Wallace Beery for The Champ. So
Still
The
an honor to
Champ
be nominated.
Poor
is like,
Lund.
I set the record for being the only person nominated who also did not win an award.
It
Honestly, I think that is the only
might
occurrence
be,
that might
yeah.
have ever happened. So
Yeah.
for you,
Damn.
Alfred Lunt, you're the real winner of this Academy Awards.
That's who we remember
That's
in
a
history.
that's a Lunt of a luck, honestly.
Lot of a lot. Best actress was Lynn Fontaine for The Guardsman, Marie Dressler for Emma, and winner Helen Hayes for The Sin of Madelon Claudette. But
Mm.
the most important award is the Cinematic Wasteland Award for Best Picture. So, Adam, what film from 1931 do you give Best Picture to?
I've only seen three or four, but it would be Frankenstein for me. James Whale's Frankenstein, absolute classic.
Frankenstein. And Luke, what other Universal horror movie did you pick for your answer for this?
Yeah, because we definitely didn't check it before. Yes, like this is all surprise.
Yep.
I saw
Off
like
the cuff.
7, 8 movies from this year, and Dracula was the one that, like, I really liked Frankenstein too. Like, I'm only your guys's, but I just enjoyed Dracula a bit more. So, like, my vote would be Dracula.
Dracula, which
Yours.
I have seen 11 films from
Nice.
1931. M and City Lights were close third and second, but I had Frankenstein at number one.
Hmm.
So this is
Big
the first
sci.
time we actually like nominate. There's two to one. Nice.
So the real winner then is Frankenstein for
Frankenstein.
the Cinematic
Frankenstein.
Wasteland Award for Best Picture.
Mhm.
I have a feeling most of these are going to be three-way ties each month, but
Yes.
Yeah.
that's okay. But let's get to my number four movie from 1931. Just missed out on the top three, which is The Public Enemy from
Nice.
1931. And this hour and 23-minute film is about an Irish American street punk tries to make it big in the world of organized crime. And this is from director William A. Wellman, starring James Cagney, Jean Harlow, and amongst others who, other women who played saucy harlots, apparently.
Mm.
Um, ad-libbing. But let's go around the horn here. So, Adam, what were your general thoughts on The Public Enemy?
General thoughts are I'm surprised it is seen well, it's ranked lower than I imagined, as in on the average letterbox rating. Because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good. So when I went to log it, I was quite surprised at how low it was. But yeah, um general thoughts. It's really good. You can see it has so much influence over so many films that come after it. You can argue that those films do it better. There are some things not as great with the story with this, but from a technical perspective, I think it looks stunning. It is great practical sets, great, even some practical effects are really good. Um, there's some really cool characters in it, good and bad, maybe, and was really intriguing from that pre-Hays Code where um, it was very the innuendo was really strong, as in the sex and effectively
Mhm.
a rape of a male in this. There was a
Yeah.
bit going on. Um, Obviously, you don't see anything because it wasn't that raunchy, but there was still stuff going on in here that you thought for 1931, well, people were horny bastards just like we are nowadays. Like you kind of, I've said this before on this show, I think, but you kind of assume it was such innocent time because of, I guess, the Hays Code stuff that we saw, where everything
Mhm.
was, really bland and nothing exciting. But yeah, man,
Sanitized.
they were horny people. That's why the human race has succeeded, I guess, because people were horny. And this movie really shows it, actually.
Yeah, they were.
Mm.
Fun fact: if people were not horny, neither of us would be here.
No, exactly right. Yeah, yeah. Well, and thank God for alcohol. So, I think that can account for a lot of births.
And holidays.
Mm.
Use some math, people. What was
Mm.
Yep.
9 months
Oh, yeah, yeah,
before
yeah,
your
yeah.
birth? What was 9 months before your birthday? Mine was Valentine's Day. But Luke, what were your
Australia
general
Day.
thoughts? Nice. That's the most Australian thing about Adam.
Yeah. It's a long weekend, I'm sure. Yeah.
Luke, what are your general thoughts on The Public Enemy?
I actually enjoyed it. I liked it. I basically copy and paste for most what Adam said. Like technically it's actually great. Like that's why yet again I appreciate this podcast so much, because like it exposed me to a lot of like even earlier stuff I wasn't aware of. And if you compare this movie to something even like from 5 years before that, like how it moves, how it's shot, how this movie tries to do like, hey, we track this person from when they were child to when they become this gangster, right? And how we
Mm.
see downfall of his character mainly, and also his actual downfall. Again, like many movies have done the same shtick, obviously better because they came later, they know exactly what works, what doesn't. And yeah, I really liked it. So what about you, number four, fourth movie of yours?
Which, to be fair, like half of them are shitty John Ford movies. It's, except
Yeah.
Aerosmith is actually a really good movie. Would recommend. That's my number five movie of
Mm.
Nice.
1931. But I think this film, I think James Cagney's a big selling point on this
Hmm.
because
Mm.
him and E.G. Robinson basically
Mm.
set the tone for the see
Hmm.
gangster movies, which is so funny because I watched this on Max. And then the
Me too.
recommended movie right afterwards had both of them in it. And
Ah.
I'm like, was this the Avengers before the Avengers were a thing?
What was the movie?
I
Sorry if
don't
I put you on the spot.
remember.
That's okay. I can look that up.
Which wasn't, I guess it wasn't like as famous of a movie. So it wasn't like White Heat or this or Scarface, stuff like that, because then I would have remembered. Scarface was, I think, was also one of the recommended ones.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I think James Cagney's fantastic. I just think that he has this energy, which also Jess came down for the last bit of this when she woke up and she's like, the eyebrows. He has such aggressive eyebrows.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's just like this man looks like a villain.
He's an angry looking guy. Yeah.
He's an angry man. Um, I think I think the third act of this movie was so legit. Like
Mm.
Hmm.
there's really great moments like that whole like assassination attempt where like they're walking
Mm.
out of the building and then it has the
Yeah.
shot coming down from the building looking down at them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like that was really
Kind of
impressive.
revolutionary.
And using real bullets, by the way. That
What?
scene on IMDb. So famously, they actually had like some sort of expert on a set that day, and they so the when you see the tight shots on a
Yeah.
wall when he
Yeah.
hides, those are actual real bullets. And I'm like,
Jesus.
old Hollywood never change.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm. Hmm.
well,
It
Well,
makes it explains why it looks so good, though, I suppose.
they
it
did it for
does.
the cinema.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and like
Oh,
the
yeah.
ending of this movie goes so hard
Hmm.
Mm.
where like Tom gets kidnapped out of nowhere. And then it's just like, we're bringing him home. And like you have this whole entire sequence where everybody's getting excited. He's going to come home safe. They open that front door and just wrapped up corpse and just falls. I'm like,
Hmm.
the reaction I had watching this, I'm like, holy, like that hit me, and I'm like, damn, that's a cold way to end this movie. And it's just like guy walking over the dead body off towards the camera out of frame, and you're just like, that's how you end a movie. That's how you show
Mm.
consequences.
Apparently
Yeah.
that's how they have to have that ending, so
Yeah.
so everybody understands crime doesn't pay, and that's why they had the
Mm.
like title card as well at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
which this was, I'd put this up there with the end of The Irishman, of like gangster movies that just
Oh yeah.
really capture just like,
Yep.
yeah, this is the life you're looking at. You're either gonna die like this one,
Hmm.
Yeah.
or you're gonna be an old, lonely person sitting in a nursing home all by yourself as that camera
Mm.
just slowly creeps away from you. So
Hmm.
Crime
the
doesn't pay, see?
same. There's definitely moments where and this is the challenge of this being an early film and a trendsetter. Like some of the elements of like the first two acts, I felt like felt a little just too bland and basic in terms of
Hmm.
storytelling and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
this really started ratcheting things up. And like this is some of the most electric, interesting storytelling and filmmaking in a film from this era, that third act
Hmm.
of this movie. I'm like, I feel like this movie's remembered because how much of like a punch this had at the end of it for sure. But I think it tells an interesting story of you see these kids from kids and growing up and this is the life that they're going to be living and stuff like that. And
He would.
you get the catching radios falling off the back of the truck-esque moments of
Mm,
that gangster life
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Not quite that, because obviously, my God, how heavy would a radio have been if it fell off the back of a truck in
yeah.
1931?
Yeah.
It's just like, this is a whole dresser. Just trying to grab it off the back of the truck. But I guess what
Mm.
are some other things that stood out to both of you about the film?
You just touched on the characters, how like I told the story of him as a kid, and I'll put my tongue back in. It's interesting how he was a shithead as a kid, Tommy, and he was a shithead as an adult. Most of these movies now kind of show how they were just a regular kid or a good kid and they turned bad. He was just a prick from the start. He was always an asshole and I don't know, this thing stood out to me too, and I don't know if it would stand out to most people, but the fact that his dad saw him and he was just wearing his cop hat at home, like he's wearing his police hat at home, so we know he's a cop before he beats the hell out of his son. It's like, oh well, the fact you
Hmm.
beat the hell out of your son probably tells us you're a cop. But um, it was really, I thought that was a weird choice. I don't know, just a strange little thing I picked up on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess way back in 1931, they're like ACAB. All cops are bastards.
Yeah. Like to me, like we've covered a lot of things already. So like my only quote unquote like downside, what do you like? I'll touch on something you said, Shane. I wouldn't say it's like basic. I think what the movie is trying to do, like show us the entire life of this man or two men, really. I think
Mm.
that's ultimately, for me at least, was kind of its downfall, where sometimes it feels like it was trying to do too much in not enough time. So, as I've written in my
Mm.
letterbox review, and Adam mocked me for it already, this is a 1 hour 23, 24 movie, right? So like 84
Yeah.
minutes. This could have easily used like 20, 30 minutes like, just to flesh out most of the characters, really. Because like, and like most of the women, oh yeah, she's there, and now she's not. Oh yeah, she's getting grapefruit in her face. No, that's about it. And even there was like swings, like suddenly, like to your point, Adam, like I don't think he was a shit, like he was a shithead, but he was a kid. Like kidheads are all dicks, like so like I
No,
don't
not
think he
like
was
he
a
was though.
proper.
No, not like that. I mean, they did have their little club, like with and
Mhm.
I've written in my note, it's Putty knows the piano pedo. Hey, we're in this club for all these pickpocket boys. Because
Yeah.
that's the immediate thing. He's just this guy playing the piano surrounded by all these kids who steal for him. And then he
Mhm.
basically robs them and gives them nothing for the stuff. Oh, well, you owe club fees for this month, so you get
Oliver
nothing. It's like,
Twist.
oh, fair enough.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
gonna say,
yeah.
but wasn't it a kind of thing at the time?
But is that rebellious because his dad was a cop and his dad was beating him? I mean, I don't think the movie tries to be that deep, but I
But
mean,
that's
you
kind of my
could you
point. Like
could
that could have
infer
been
that,
fleshed out a bit
yeah.
more. Yeah, that's
Well,
that's
I
kind of
think
my and
Yeah.
to your
yeah.
point, Luke, what this feels like is 99% of biopics that tell the whole
Yes.
life,
Mm,
where it's just like you have to like speed run things to
Yeah.
fit a
Yeah.
whole entire life into a movie of that length. And
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like this suffered from some of the same kind of stuff, to your point,
Hmm.
where some
Hmm.
of this
Hmm.
stuff could have been like deepened. Or because
Hmm.
like basically you're skating across the surface of some stuff where it's
Yes.
just like where you have to be like, hey, look, he's a cop, can't you tell? And you have to do like
Yeah.
obvious plants like that to be able to be like, we need to squeeze this whole entire story in 84 minutes. Where
Hmm.
what
Mm,
I felt like was when we got to the third act, this was like we're getting to a specific chunk of like this is the real story here.
Yes.
And that's where things really got to. And it's still a really well made, well acted film. And I'm not surprised at all James Cagney became one of the biggest names
Mm.
in film, especially in like this genre. And then,
Hmm.
Yankee Doodle Dandy, which seems so odd compared to all of these gangster movies that James Cagney did and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I do feel like this does suffer from the stereotypical biopic structure
Hmm.
where you're just like you're checking boxes instead of like really fleshing out the story at times.
You got the
Which
dad who doesn't
basically it is
support your
kind of
career choices.
yeah. Which basically, to my understanding, it is a kind of a biopic. Most of the stuff we see in this movie is based on a real life gangster, I think from Chicago. And like to, for example, the horse scene where they pay for the horse that, killed one of the main guys and then shoot him, that actually happened in like 1929. So I'm like, ooh,
Oh,
damn. And yeah, like to your
Oh,
point, Adam, like from before about the rape, I was like, I was kind of expecting maybe
yes.
some like like a mild rape in this the gangster movie. Sure, I wasn't expecting the woman's gonna rape
No,
the man. I was like, ooh,
no.
that's a
And
hashtag
he
feminism.
was he was angry because he had standards like I guess it was honor amongst thieves. He didn't want to cut his friend's lunch, I suppose. But she was like the girls loved him, even though he was an angry looking guy. And
Hmm.
I guess not on that point, but I also need to mention Jean Harlow. I read about her
Hmm.
after she died at 26. She was a massive star and she was in a lot of movies, like 70 odd movies before she died at 26. And when I was watching her, I was thought she was like a big starlet of the time, and she's really not attractive at all. But really, that really surprised me. I know that's a completely sh doesn't need to be mentioned, but I had to, that's how I roll. I'm the bad boy of the
Okay.
group, I suppose.
It didn't have to be mentioned, but I'd mentioned it.
Yeah. If something doesn't have to be mentioned,
I don't
guarantee I'll
think I
mention
think
it.
she was attractive for the era. I think like she's not attractive by modern day standards, I
Oh,
guess. But like for the era, like many women kind of look like her.
I
Like I
think a
don't
lot of
know.
it's makeup and whatnot, and a lot of it's not
Hmm.
covered up.
it's
Yeah,
the
I can kind
stare.
of see that.
It's
It's the seductive stare why she became famous
Yeah,
mm,
maybe.
for
I mean,
sure.
Betty Davis. I actually think Betty Davis wasn't conventionally attractive, and I actually
hmm.
thought she was quite attractive, to be honest. I don't know. I'm
Hmm.
just trying to compare apples to oranges, I suppose. But um, I think I think there
Jeans
were
the
quite a lot of
Bettys.
attractive women from that back in that era because there's a couple of older movies, especially with the Humphrey Bogart ones. I think The Big Sleep, where every woman in that
Lauren
is just
Bacall.
stunning. Yeah, Lauren Bacall, but there's also a few library bookshop women, the women who run the bookshops opposite each other. They're
Hmm.
fucking hot as hell, man. They are stunning
Hmm.
looking women.
Sexy bookshop owners
Oh, yeah.
setting
Read
cliches
read
from all the way back
read
in
my
the
Read my first review on Letterboxd of the Big Sleep because
Well,
it's very creepy.
I'm just gonna say they knew exactly what they were doing with Rachel Weisz in The Mummy.
Yeah,
Librarians, oh,
absolutely.
yep,
man,
Yeah.
librarians.
Mm,
the
yeah.
Mummy, the sexual awakening of many millennials. Um,
Yeah.
um, I feel like this movie is pretty important for what it did in terms of setting the tone for noirish gangster movies of the time.
Hmm.
I think it has some really great stuff in it, even if it does feel a little bit rushed, telling some parts of the story. And James Cagney is just electric and
Yes.
angry,
Yeah, he's
angry eyebrows.
mm.
But what I liked,
This
he's
is
not just angry all the time, right? Like he's like, like when he bags I think Gene Harlow on the street, he does the little dance like before he gets into his car. So he's kind of like silly at times. And I'm like,
Mhm.
this is an interesting choice that, I'm not gonna be just menacing and all and like pissed off all the time. But like, yeah, I'm just gonna silly bee dance for like a second or two. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's
mm.
twirling. Cool.
It was Joe Pesci long before Joe Pesci played Tommy DeVito. It's like,
Yeah.
funny how funny like a clown. Do I amuse you?
But like again,
It's
to
actually
your
it's
point,
still
like
that kind of energy, except
yes,
I don't think Joe Pesci's going to be doing a dance, but
no,
James Cagney
He's a
could,
powder
yes,
because
keg. He's one of those powder keg characters who go off at any time for any reason.
mm-hmm,
mhm.
This was
but to
my
your
first
point, not just
Cagney
the
film
gangster
too.
movies. Oh, is it?
I'd never seen a Cagney film before, yeah, which I was surprised
Oh,
when I watched it. Yeah.
mm,
Mm.
okay.
I I actually saw some later in life films of his because he did some films later in life with John Ford.
Yeah, yeah,
Of
yeah.
On
course.
my John Ford series. But he, I think White Heat's the big film for him, and Angels with Dirty Faces.
Hmm.
White Heat's the one where he's like, "I'm on top of the world," like screaming at the end when the whole thing's like blowing up around him.
Mm-hmm,
So that's a pretty iconic
Okay.
moment for Cagney. But like it's that energy.
mm-hmm.
Mm.
Oh no, you know
Yeah.
what? Just said he before there was Jack Nicholson, there was James Cagney for
Yeah.
Angry
That's
Eyebrows. Yep.
That's a
absolutely
great
respect that.
comparison. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. And now we've got Ray doing the same thing.
Yeah, Ray Nicholson.
Yep.
Just like
Cagney,
smile.
Nicholson in that order. Yeah.
But I guess do either of you have any other thoughts to throw out there about the Public Enemy?
Um, just one quote that I wrote down, which I really liked, is
Mhm,
that he's going to school to learn how to be poor. Didn't talk about the dynamic with his brother as well. Like his brother was the army guy. I thought that was really good actually to have that in the film.
mhm,
Like he was against what he did and served him beer at the
mhm.
table, and he was against it. So yeah, I liked a lot of that.
Well, and I think that's a good dichotomy to have in the film too,
Mm,
Yeah.
because
mm.
having that kind of, it's I don't know about either of you, but like I have a brother
And
and
you're
Mhm.
opposite?
yes.
Yeah,
And
same.
getting
Yeah.
people comparing you, people being well, a bunch of people at our high school would be like to my brother, "Why can't you be more like Shane?"
Oh wow.
Which he loved.
I was gonna say there
Yeah,
must have
I
been
bet.
fun for him.
As long as it wasn't your mum saying it, because it's worse when it comes from your parents.
Yep.
These were
Yep.
straight. These were multiple teachers
Oh
in
wow.
school and stuff like that. Because I was the good kid.
Yeah, yeah. I was a
So
good kid too. Yeah.
but like that's always an interesting dynamic to include because siblings are fun. They open up a
Hmm.
whole other layer of
Hmm.
dynamics with people. And yeah, I think that thought that was an interesting part of the film for sure.
Like
And
when he
even just like,
punches him. Oh, sorry.
Mm.
well, I've been there too.
No, but
Oh,
what I
right.
meant with this movie specifically, he's the only one who lands a punch on him. And any other guy, he would have already taken out his pistol, shoot him.
Mm.
That's it. But
Mm.
because it's his brother, he just laughs at him, tears down like a load of money, throws it in his face, and just fucks off. And I'm like,
Yeah.
hmm, okay.
Yeah.
There's different rules
He
for
was
siblings.
Oh yeah,
he was definitely all about family, Tommy. Like
yes,
he was still, despite what
Like
he
the
did, he was
Fast and
still
the
all about
Furious. It's
yeah.
all about
Father,
family. But
father.
no, like stereotypical Italians, Irish gangster
family.
Hmm.
stuff. It's just like it is about family. And that's what makes that
Yeah.
last scene so impactful too.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Family waiting for him to come home
Hmm.
and he got sent home as a corpse.
Like you
Yeah.
can tell, like his brother, despite him not liking and hating him for what he's done, not hating him, but like despising him what he's done, he still cared for him, right? And that's the dynamic. That's the kind of you need somebody in your life to sort you out when you do shit like this, right? And he
Mhm.
was the only one who can kind of stand up to him and put up a fight because even the ma was like, yeah, he's fine. Like he gives me money, so it's like she was kind of trying to be neutral. She was kind of like the Switzerland of the situation, and like he's like, no, this is wrong. This beer is mixed with blood of other men. I'm not gonna drink it. I'm like, "Hmm,
This is the
Yeah.
perfect example of you do not have to like your family, but you do
yeah,
No.
love your family.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah."
But
And my last kind of point about this
Yeah.
movie, just to kind of wrap it up, I again, like you mentioned Shane before, like this influenced a lot of like noir and gangster movies. I would even go one step further. Like if you watch Casino, if you watch, Bronx Tale from Robert De Niro directed,
Yeah.
Mm.
a lot of the same elements like we see from a rags to riches story, from like, this guy starts up, from here and then,
Mhm.
works himself out to be this big mobster. Even now, even if it's not a mobster movie, we see a lot of that, and then how easy it is to lose your soul when you just gonna forget what is important and you're gonna be a dick to everybody. So like that's why it's one of the I said this might genuinely be more influential than Citizen Kane when it comes to its themes,
Yeah.
what it was doing in the time. Not the technical, even though technically it's a great movie, but especially in the themes and the stories and what it's trying to do like a track from kid to adult. I think this might be even more influential than Citizen Kane in a degree.
I can see that.
It certainly has the amount of stories that it certainly
Hmm.
has an impact on for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Citizen Kane changed how people make movies. That
Yes. Yes.
kind of influence. But
No. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
this is very influential, and there's a reason this film, it's like, and also just The Public Enemy.
Mm.
Hmm.
Like that obviously didn't
Yeah.
come from this, but like that has that kind of, like, you think of a movie, it's like that's the kind of movie I think of when I think of like a gangster movie kind
Hmm.
of thing, and just that kind of influence and legacy with it. But
Hmm.
those are our thoughts on The Public Enemy. And that is a wrap on our exploration of 1931. But next month, we're going to be talking about I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang. Am I? You'll find out. And so, but Adam and Luke, thank you both so much for coming on and talking movies with me.
It was a
Always a
delight as
blast.
always. Thank you.
And thank all of you for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and share on this episode. What's your favorite gangster Shay kind of movie? Old school gangster movies, or if you haven't explored those, what are some of your favorite modern gangster movies? There's certainly a lot. You could
Hmm.
choose a lot from just Martin Scorsese,
And
or
why is
just
it Goodfellas?
what's a Goodfellas. And make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPM Crew Podcasting Network is ever expanding. So many different shows, different interests. Adam has a new show that's
Mm.
rolling out, and been enjoying Adam's journey to become a horror junkie.
Well, I am a horror junkie all of a sudden, but a horror aficionado maybe. Yeah, it's fun. It's great.
Mhm.
Adam's
Really
getting a
enjoying it.
promotion from junkie to aficionado. Um, and obviously check out all of our shows. We probably have 8 of them between
300.
the three of us.
Mm.
On the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. But if you're interested in joining the crew, reach out to us, whether you want to be a guest on one of these shows or if you want to start your own podcast. And if you like our logo, check out my buddy Joe. He does some great work. He's a good paisan too. And most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Cinematic Wasteland here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.